Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you guys my Fluffal deck profile for February 2017. All thanks goes out to my girlfriend Marissa for helping me with this deck. This is actually her deck profile deck that I'll be doing for this video. It's a really cool deck with the new support of Octo and Penguin. You can do some crazy combo plays and get out some different summons as well with this deck. So let's go ahead and jump right into the deck profile. As usual, I still run 3 Fluffal Dog. This card's way too good not to use. He's your searcher. When this card is normal or special summon from the hand, you can add one Edgem Sabers or Fluffal Monster from your deck to your hand, except for Fluffal Dog. You can only use the effect once per turn. So you grab what you need for fusion resources, or like Edgem Sabers, definitely, making full use of your Fright Fur summons. And I run 3 Fluffal Penguin. This is your new card that you run. It's really good. During your main phase, you can special summon one Fluffal monster from your hand, except for Penguin. This effect can only be used once while this card is face up on the field. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a fusion material for a fusion of a Fright Fur monster, you can draw 2 cards, then discard 1. You can only use this effect of Penguin once per turn. So it says special summon from the hand, making full use of your Fluffal monsters, like Dog, when he's special summoned from the hand. It's such a faster paced way to get things out, and the fact that you can, discard draw for resources, putting stuff in your graveyard, just makes this card a must-have at 3. Plus, it's got good stats as well, and it also has a bunch of other plays too, which I'll get to. And I also run 2 Fluffal Bear. This is your search for Toy Vendor, which can make use of Wing in the graveyard, and a Polymerization search as well. So you send this card from your hand to the graveyard to search for Toy Vendor, or attribute it on the field to add a Polymerization in your graveyard back to your hand. You can only use 1 Fluffal Bear effect per turn, but I mostly use it for the Toy Vendor search, since you want that card on the field to send to the graveyard with Wing. Speaking of Wing, I run 3. This card has a graveyard effect of banishing it and a Fluffal monster if you control Toy Vendor from the graveyard to draw a card. And then you can send Toy Vendor from the field to the graveyard to draw an additional card. So along with that, you'll be getting the search off of the Toy Vendor and a draw 2 cards for resources. And with Fluffal Octo, you can add these cards back to use again later if you have another vendor. And I do want to run 3 Fluffal Octo, but sadly, only have 1 still at the moment. So for the substitutes, I'm putting in 1 owl and 1 cat. With Octopus, you basically can, when it's normal or special, you can target 1 Fluffal or Edgem monster in your graveyard, add to your hand, and if this card is sent to the graveyard as a fusion material for a fusion monster of a Fright Fur monster, you can target 2 of your banished monsters, return them to the graveyard. You can only use each effect of Octopus once per turn. So it has resources for adding back your Edgem monsters for your fusion plays, and it also has the effect, like I said, to put Wing in the Fluffal monster that you banish back into the graveyard for reuse with another Toy Vendor. And basically, cat and owl are just substitutes for the fusion search and the recycle use. But 3 Octopus is definitely the way to go with this deck profile. You'll have so much consistency with the deck with this card added in. And for the Edgem monsters, I run 2 Edgem Sabers. You can put cards on top of your deck if you want to make use of the Toy Vendor effect with this card to special summon it back from the graveyard. And getting it in the graveyard is an easy play for this special summon effect, since you're just going to fusion summon with it. And it's needed for pretty much most of your Fright Fur plays, so you definitely need to run this card. But he's searchable with Dog, which is why I only run 2. Easy to get to your hand. And then 3 Chain. This card has a search effect to add another chain when it attacks, and when it's sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, you can add a Fright Fur card from your deck to your hand. You can only use 1 Edgem effect per turn. You can add Fright Fur Fusion, which is basically your Miracle Fusion for Fluffal monsters in the graveyard, to make use of a second fusion play after your original fusion play with the Polymerization. And adding Chain allows for extra resources if you want to get out more sheep or other monsters that require an Edgem card. And 3 King of the Swamp. This card searches out Polymerization and can also count for the substitute of a fusion, so you can substitute for Edgem Chain, Edgem Saw, Fluffal Bear. The cards that specifically name the card, this card can take up that spot. So it makes for easier fusion summons using this and another card. And lastly, 2 Maxi, just for that additional draw power. If you don't have the Maxis to put in, you could maybe put in a 3rd Bear and just run the Owl for main as an additional 1 while running the 3 Octo. Just run that additional Owl if you don't have the Maxis to put in. and also 2 Garnet. I like the Brilliant Fusion play with the deck just because it speeds things up so much more since you have the normal summon effects. There have been times where I get the dog off in my hand. I just wish I had the additional normal summon so I can get off the Owl Search or, the Octo Search, just to grab more resources for those searches. So the Brilliant Fusion play with Seraphonite really comes in handy. And the card you send with the Garnet is actually Wing, since it is a light monster. And for spells, I run 3 Polymerization. It's staple in the deck just for fusion summoning, next to Fright for Fusion. Recyclable as well, like I said with the Bear. And searchable with King of the Swamps. And 3 Toy Vendor, it has the special summon effect by discarding and drawing and revealing the top card of your deck. But what you mostly use it for, like I said, is the Wing combo, which allows you to, when it's sent to the graveyard, add 1 Edgem Sabers or Fluffal monster from your deck to your hand. You can even, if you don't have the Maxis, but you do possibly have Foolish Burial with Belongings, add that into the deck, because by activating that, you can send Vendor to the graveyard and get off the effect there. So it's really cool how you can combo play this card in the deck. And 3 Fright for Fusions, it's the Miracle, not 3, my mistake, 2. It's the Miracle Fusion for the deck, where you special summon a Fright for Fusion from your extra deck by banishing fusion material from the field or graveyard. You can only activate once per turn. I used to run 3, but I only like 2 in the deck now, because you run out of resources so quickly if you make use of this, and then you have no more place to go off of if most of your Fluffal cards are banished. Yes, you have Octo to rely on now, but I still like this card at 2, just because Polymerization is still a quicker play to go with, since it can go from the hand also. And 2 Instant Fusions, this is for your Norden Search, which I'll show that combo later on. And the 3 Brilliant Fusions also for the Seraphonite play. Like I said, the 2 normal summons definitely helps in this deck. And lastly, to finish off the deck, 1 Regeki for OTK purposes. If you clear their board, then have enough cards to fusion summon into Wolf, you can hit for 8k if you use 4 monsters. No trap cards in the deck. I used to run Fusion Reserve, but there's just so much search power now that you can go off of that you don't have to rely on setting a trap 1 turn and then activating it later. And then for the extra deck, I run 1 Fright for a Tiger. This would definitely go up to 2 if I show you an alternative for the combo play that I run in the deck. But 1 just for the pop effects and the fact that you can only control 1 Fright for a Tiger at a time. And 1 is mostly all you'll ever truly need with this deck for the pop effects, because then you should just be able to go for your kill right there after you get this Tiger out. 1 Leo, you use the requirements for this using King of the Swamp. It has the Ring of Destruction effect, and then just not being able to attack directly that turn. 1 Fright for Bear, once again, the bear target for the King of the Swamp for easy fusion summon play. 2 Fright for Sheep, this one's really good just because your opponent can't activate cards when this card attacks, and the Destruction effect to special summon it back with 800 more makes it a good roundhouse power. I also run 2 of the new Fright for a Kraken. This card allows you to once per turn send a monster your opponent controls to the graveyard. This card cannot attack directly the turn you activate this effect, but this card can make a second attack during each battle phase, and at the end of the battle phase that battle, change it to defense. 2200 attack and 3000 defense, so you sit on this card after it attacks, and the send effect helps to avoid some destruction effects by just sending it to the graveyard. And you only need an Edgem monster and 1 Fluffal monster to summon it, making it very easy in the deck. And 2 Fluffal, I said Fluffal, Fright for Wolf. This is your other OTK play. If you want to take out 1 Wolf for 2 Tiger, if you prefer that method, you can do that as well. But just the multiple attacks is your OTK. If you go off of making Tiger, then Fright for Fusion in the graveyard to make Wolf, attack, 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 and then Tiger for the attacking game. And 1 Fright for Sabertooth. You make this by using a Fright for a Fusion monster plus 1 or more Fluffal or Edgem monsters. This card's basically indestructible because if you use the 3 to make it, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, or it can't be destroyed by card effects, and it cannot be destroyed by battle. So it's really cool. Basically, when it's fusion summon, you target 1 Fright for a monster in your graveyard, also special summon it, so you're able to get back your Wolf or Tiger or whatever you made. And 1 Norden for the instant fusion play, like I said. 1 and 2 Seraphonite for the Brilliant Fusion, just in case you end up losing 1, you still have more resources to go into. And 1 Bahamut Shark and 1 Totally Awesome makes for the combo play, which is really cool with the deck, which is what I'm going to show you now. Basically, if you have, it's a very simple combo, but if you have Fluffal Penguin in the graveyard and you activate your instant fusion, you basically pay the 1,000 to special summon out your Norden. Use Norden's effect to summon Penguin, and Penguin's a water monster as well, so you can basically overlay this with your Norden to go into the requirements for the Bahamut Shark, and the detach there allows you to get out the Totally Awesome. So it's a play that, you know, people when Fluffals first came out would have never imagined, but it's a really cool one that you can make use of, and, you know, just putting to use the fact that Fluffal Penguin is a water monster in this deck to get out an even broke monster. But if you don't have the Bahamut Shark and the Totally Awesome, you can obviously replace it for Castel or Arc or Abyss Dweller, some other cards like that. Abyss Dweller can definitely make use of the water type monsters being attached, or you can even just put in more Sabertooths, or you can put in Tiger, an additional Tiger, and go max play like that. But anyway, that is it for the deck profile. I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. Once again, I'm always taking, you know, offers on other deck profiles you want to see, so just let me know what you want, and I'll do my best to make it happen. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and Kira Twig out.